Play your fucking music.
Play your fucking music, white
Play
boy.
your fucking music, white boy. Let's hear your honky jams.
Oh, yeah.
I am particularly offended by other people's bad habits that are not the same as my own at the present time. The way they always do those things, this and that and other stuff that I don't have the time, money, or energy to do anymore. But if you've got some things to say about stuff I do every day, that is not the same as yourself at the present time. Who, tell me who, that's WHO, died and made you king.
My brothers and sisters,
Hallelujah.
we are gathered here today
Amen.
in solidarity, in confusion,
Amen.
in love for one another.
Oh, yeah.
This is Verbal Assault Podcaster,
Hallelujah.
Praise it.
gathering here under the banner of freedom of speech.
Oh,
and
freedom by the Lord.
Preach it, brother. Preach it. Preach it, brother. Preach it.
Freedom! Freedom!
the ability to laugh at whatever the fuck we want to laugh at.
Yeah, hallelujah.
Amen, brother.
We
I
are
like to
gathered
laugh.
here today we are here with Bekah Penland, sexiest voice in the South. Say hi, Bekah.
Hi, Becca.
Dave 70, kindly
Sexiest voice in the
grandfather.
South.
Hello.
Kindly grandfather.
How's everyone doing?
There he is. Patrick Everett.
Yes, sir.
He keeps shit moving. He keeps it together.
Amen.
Steve Marr. He takes pictures of rockets. God damn it. Beacon brother. Mr. Beefy. Brad is Mr. Beefy. Keeping everybody smiling and having a good time.
Amen.
I am your humble host, Nathan Echo. Nathan Echo.
Nathan Echo.
Nathan Echo.
Nathan Echo.
Just as the early church was gathered in the upper room in the book of Acts, waiting to receive the gift of the Holy Spirit, so is Verbal Assault Podcast gathered here today to channel unto all of our listeners the gifts.
Amen. Preach it, brother. Preach it. I need to hear more.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Praise
Yes,
God.
comedy.
Praise God.
The gifts of freedom of speech, the gifts of being okay with having a good motherfucking time. We are gathered here today, people, for a podcast.
What you say? You got a pod cart?
Podcart?
Podcart.
Cod
No,
I
I
didn't
heard.
say that. I might have fumbled a little. I didn't say podcart.
No, you didn't say pod cart.
I didn't say that. How's everybody doing?
Pretty good. How you doing? How many Matthew McConaughey's have you put down?
I drank,
Almost got it out. Almost.
How many-
one really quick before this.
How many Matthew McConaughey's does it take to get Nathan drunk?
I was worried.
12.
I was worried I was gonna blow out my voice trying to work that wrestling promo out on the way here.
Yeah.
There it
'Cause-
goes.
Yeah, 'cause I was starting to feel. I was like, oh, I've got to figure this out, but I have to be able to still to be able to do it. But
You can only scream the word Sunday at the top of your lungs so many times.
it's a Sunday.
Sunday, Sunday, Sunday.
I'm sure you're wondering why you didn't get any hallelujahs or yes from me. And I'll say it's because I felt the exact same in that church that I did in regular church as a kid. I felt nothing.
Because you're a heathen.
The Lord didn't
Jezebel-
move you, Becca?
Have you
Jezebel
not invited
spirit
any Matthew McConaughey?
coming upon you,
Sorry.
Coming all up on you.
coming all up in you. That Jezebel spirit.
Jezebel. That was
Oh,
David's
man.
David's chick, right? Jezebel?
Oh, Jezebel. Yeah,
Was
yeah.
it? Yeah.
Yeah, the side chick.
Yeah. side chick.
Whatever.
Watched her from the windows.
Yeah.
Sent her husband to the front lines to get him killed.
Yeah. This is Verbal Assault 3.0. I am very happy to be here tonight. How's everybody doing?
Great.
Woo.
Great.
That great?
Fantastic. Fucking fantastic.
Hey Brad, are you working for Vave right now?
Huh?
I saw Brad blowing his nose. I think he's working for Vave. Are you going to sell that tissue for $80?
Look, I didn't want to announce it this early in the podcast, but right here, I get a $50 cut. So, you got a little pile going on here. I got about $150 so far. You got to get them nice and wet. You got to get them real good. Hold it up there. It's got to be clear. If you got green stuff in there, they're like, no, we don't want that.
Yeah, it's a little too much. You open up your Vave and you got some green shit in there.
It's already enough to talk however many people we've sold to into spending $80 on somebody else's used tissue. That's already blown the minds of all the business world. But once you start throwing that green stuff, that you bite into something and it's got a bit more pepper than you wanted, you're not happy about it.
Oh God.
That's kind of
a little bit more mucusy than you planned on.
Yeah, but fucking clear gold right there, baby.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, why not just go to like a fucking Walmart trash can and get used tissues out of there? And
look, we're giving people colds, not AIDS.
As far as you know.
As far as I know.
Don't be ashamed to sit there with you can just put the Kleenex up your nose and just both nostrils, just fill them up as we go. You make it.
Yeah, money. I'll just do that right now, and next I'll just try to lick my elbow, and then I'll see if I have cancer and wait patiently for someone to
No, you gotta put your elbow in your ear.
That's it. That's how you.
I got headphones on. It's not gonna work.
Yeah, that's why.
Otherwise,
that's why it's not gonna work.
Otherwise.
Dave.
Yeah.
I'm just pointing you out because I saw you yawn a second ago.
No one's getting a pass tonight.
Nope. No passes on Verbal Assault 3.0.
3.0. Hey, let's mention it at the top in case, I don't know, maybe some people don't make it all the way to the end. We are streaming live, and the best way to enjoy it is mixer.com/Verbal Assault Podcast. So you can comment on the phone. Is Kegel in there yet?
Yeah, he's in there. Don't worry about him. We got some other people too.
It says here, Verbal Assault Podcast just went live. Okay.
Well,
great news.
Late.
Check that out.
Late, son. Late news. Fake news.
Late news.
I still didn't hear how Dave was.
I said I was good.
That it? You're just good.
I'm good, man. Why do you keep asking me?
I feel good.
Dave, you got that Holy Ghost on you?
I couldn't get it off in the shower. Still on me.
Couldn't get it off in the
Hey,
shower.
I'll bet I know why. You couldn't get that off of you in the shower. It's because you use fucking soap on your hands, and that's it. You don't scrub.
Yeah.
You are wrong.
Just
Right.
dips his
One
hand in a
wrong.
big vat of soap and says, time to go to work. Everybody will thank me because I'm leaving soap everywhere. No one will get sick.
The shower practically cleans itself.
Yeah. Clean a shower in all the land.
So did we hear how Dave is? How's Dave?
How's Dave?
Dave,
I
how you
don't
doing?
know. He's just sort of
I'm
there.
good. I'm just fine.
Oh,
He's
no,
doing-
we found the
He's
helium tank.
Filled his
Yeah.
room with helium.
He's doing like a nerdy character today. I don't know what it is.
I don't like him.
What?
Not just flat earthers
Do
anymore.
you guys remember that show? It was like 1,000 Ways to Die.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
One of the episodes covered this, like this teenage couple. They filled, like, you remember those big parachute things you play with at PE? You lift it up and then it catch the air and like make a big bubble. You run underneath it and sit on the edges. Well, they filled,
Or you put a ball on top of it.
yeah, bounce it
You do
around.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, apparently they, I guess, ended up with a shitload of helium and like filled one of those, like the underneath with helium and like fucked around in there. Thought it was funny, talking funny and everything. And then they died because they were in a mostly helium environment for too long.
How many people died?
Two.
Like two people
It was,
died.
it was a couple, yeah. They filled this thing with helium. It might not have been one of those parachute things. It could have been like a bouncy castle or something like that.
I bet they were having fun though when they
Oh
did.
man, they were laughing.
Yeah.
And they needed more oxygen because they were laughing so hard and they just couldn't get it, man.
It might not have been one of those parachutes.
There you go. Let's keep that volume up.
Just so we know we are on. We can hear ourselves.
Is this the video? Is this like a snuff video?
What?
We're really pushing the line. We're really pushing the lines here.
Brad says, "Is this a snuff video?" And then all of our screens, like just a pistol shows up, like on all of our heads. And then he says yes, and then just
We
like,
die.
shoots all of us. Yeah, and then he just laughs and laughs.
And we
And
stream.
then I laugh for a solid hour just
Yes.
so nobody pays attention to the timestamp.
But hey, we might get some followers that way.
We would definitely get some followers that way. Maybe we could just take out one of us. Maybe just one.
But how are we gonna figure out who?
Yeah.
I'm thinking of a number.
No, I think we'd have to play.
It's 7.
I
7.
think we have to play
well,
Super
looks
Fight.
like Nathan's alive.
Live.
We have to play Super Fight.
Super fight.
All right.
We should play that again.
I'll play
And
it.
whoever is the ultimate loser is the one that's sacrificed for the snuff film.
Becca,
Yeah,
I heard you had a story.
I do. It's not my story. It's a news story.
So this isn't a massage story. You didn't go back?
Oh, I
feel
did.
like
I did
it
do
is
that.
Becca's story.
You did
She
go
just wants
back.
to change the names.
I wasn't gonna bring it up because nothing happened. It wasn't like it was just a very normal experience. Nothing was brought up again. It was just a very normal.
Same. This is the same guy.
Yeah. So maybe me telling him to shut up because he was gonna get in trouble did the trick. Maybe. But I was like still on the fence, but 95% sure I was going to do the live stream massage, but it didn't come up. So we're still back at the beat. We're still in the what do you call it in a story where you have like the big rise and then the fall down.
The denouement.
The denouement isn't
The
that like,
denouement.
isn't that the top? Isn't that the peak of the thing?
I don't know.
Coup d'etat.
Whatever it is going down from the peak, that's where we're at right
The
now.
cul de sac.
So basically, he's backing off because he's figuring he creeped you out last time, but then next time I bet you he's gonna do something.
Well,
Let's make a
Maybe.
bet. I guarantee you go again, he's gonna do something creepy.
I bet
If
you
you come
one
back-
Matthew McConaughey.
Ooh.
Yes, I will bet you one. I'll raise it to 2 Matthew McConaughey's.
what would I do with all that Matthew McConaughey if I won? Okay, all right, bet's on. I guess we'll see what happens in a couple of weeks.
Okay, so what's your story, Becca? What's your story?
What's your story?
Steve, you got my thing pulled up?
Aye, that I
Okay.
do.
All right, so I'm slightly worried that there is a video on this one that will just automatically start playing.
Oh, well, it hasn't started. Oh, shit. There it is. It wants to start.
Just stop it.
Close.
There should be a couple of pictures though on there. I'm going to switch over this tab and read this to you. It's a very short little story. The
Oh.
title is "She is the love of my life. Woman, 20, reveals she has married a zombie doll that she got when she was 13." As she details how she and the figurine even consummated the union.
What?
Okay, so the story
Is this
goes.
in Japan? Is this in Japan?
I am not sure where. Oh, okay, I can tell you where in just a second.
Okay.
20-year-old woman has claimed her world is now complete after she married her zombie doll. Felicity Cadleck from Massachusetts has revealed she tied the knot with the love of her life, Kelly Rossi, a zombie doll that she claims is 37 years old, on September
Kelly?
15th. Kelly Rossi. The ceremony, which took place in Tiverton, Rhode Island, cost Felicity $500, which covered her wedding dress, a tuxedo for Kelly, and decorations for the outdoor venue.
Oh, and they had guests too.
Which
Yeah, you
one's
can
the
see the
zombie?
pictures.
Oh,
you
wait.
sh-
Oh, we got 15 plus images to look through.
Was
here.
was Woody and Buzz Lightyear there? The wedding.
I don't see them in attendance, but I haven't looked through all the pictures yet.
Oh, God.
Let's see. Yeah, I want to see that.
Yeah, which one?
Oh, what? What? What the fuck?
This
Oh
is a
my
good reason to
God.
be watching the stream on
This is
Mixer.
why you want to watch.
People listening, this thing is fucking horrifying.
Yeah, I thought that it was an actual
Oh, my God.
carcass. That I was sure this was about to be.
That's
a
some
story.
crazy motherfucking shit right there.
Dave, we're gonna have to talk about this new character you're running at some point.
Let's talk to him more about his addiction to helium.
Wait, she's got an engagement ring, so clearly the zombie doll.
That's a serious ring.
That's a 2 mortgage on the house because we ain't keeping it.
Just for people,
Whoa.
Listening, it's like let's say a 5-year-old child-sized dummy, and it
with its jaw missing.
Looks like a
corpse
voodoo doll.
with its jaw torn off and just blood and gore just sort of smeared all over its face. It's really disgusting. And she kind of looks like
doll with a Korean lady's wig on.
Oh man.
Yeah, that's really disturbing.
That's a really creepy doll, man.
Yeah.
She take it to prom too.
Oh,
they've been together a long time.
Oh God. See, it's become it's a thing in Japan for people to marry inanimate objects, like whether it's a character in a video game or a doll or a fucking hologram. But I've not heard about it in the States yet. This is we're migrating, which just fits into the article I have about the problems of sex in the United States.
Wait, where was this girl from?
Massachusetts.
Ooh.
Massachusetts. You have anything else on that article, Becca?
Oh, I was just wanted to pose the question to you guys. Were there any toys that you were attached to throughout your life?
I had a pound puppy.
Hold on.
I had a pound puppy that I would like sleep with, it would be between my legs.
A pound puppy.
Yeah, you remember those? The pound. Here, let me.
I do. I remember those.
Well,
Just so you don't feel left out.
For the viewers, I'll Google pound puppy.
Steve-O, I also had
this is the
a
one.
pound puppy.
This is it, right? Fucking here. Holy shit.
Is it the one with the floppy ears?
You damn right, it's floppy ears. That's the
That's
one.
the one I had.
Hell yeah.
That's the one I had too.
Oh man.
I've
Oh,
seen
little
them.
pound puppy. Oh, that was great. They had a cartoon to go along with it. It was Pound Puppy and Popples, man. All day, every day.
Popples.
Popples.
Yeah. I had the soccer ball Popples. Yeah.
Popples. Yeah. When they in the cartoon for Popples, like for those that don't know, Popples are just these little like stuffed animals, and they had kind of like a kangaroo pouch, but you would like fold the Popple into the pouch, and it'd be this little ball with its tail hanging out. But in the cartoon, if I remember right, anytime they would fold into the ball, they would be inside this like other universe. Is that like they would be traveling through space and time inside that?
Like a Pokemon.
Oh yeah, I didn't realize that. Yeah, I had no idea.
Yeah, it's a vague memory, but I just remember one going inside its pouch, and then when it showed what it saw, it was like seeing galaxies and stars and shit, all inside that little pouch. Anybody else?
I actually have right here the only toy that I still possess from my childhood, my T-Rex.
Hell yeah.
I've had since I was like 5 years old.
Wow.
It's in great shape.
I used to do it like this, like it was a gun.
Me too. Did you guys ever get those dinosaurs from Key Bank? Do you know what Key Bank is?
I remember Key Bank.
Did you get dinosaurs when you had like a checking account when you're not a checking, a savings account when you were a kid?
My mom had Star Bank.
She should have had fucking Key Bank. Dude, so you had a savings account. If you were a kid, they had like incentive programs. You reach this amount in your savings account, you get all these different things. And they were all dinosaurs, and they were all really nicely made, like the one that you have there. It was like that. And they had all the different dinosaurs, and you could pick which one you wanted every time you hit like 50 or 100 or something like that. It was so freaking cool. And I want to see if I can find those on the internet and see if people are selling them. I'm probably not going to buy them. I just want to know. I want to see them. And you guys never did that? That sucks.
I don't know what that is. Yeah, I've not heard of that.
That really sucks. What a childhood you guys missed out on.
I received zero financial training as a kid. It's like, we ain't got any money. That's it. There's not much you can do.
We had Book It, where if you read books, you get free pizza from Pizza Hut.
Yep.
Hell
Yeah,
yeah, we had Book It too.
Yep.
Yeah.
We had that in. Well, we had it in when I was in school in Florida, but whenever I moved to Montana, it wasn't called Book It, but who cares? It was the same idea, and I'm pretty sure I've told this on the podcast, but I lied to my mom and told her that I had read Stephen King's It to get 1,800 pages read because I got some shit for that. And all I had to do was convince her that I read it, and she had to sign a form saying that I read it. I rented it from the library, from the school library, and I had it for 2 weeks. And that's enough time to read it, I think.
That should be in no school library.
Oh, it should be a what?
That should not be in any school library.
It was in there. And yeah, and she was like, Steven, did you read it? And I was like, oh yeah.
I mean, I guess
I'm
a
halfway through War and Peace right now.
well, yeah, it is long, but I guess a preteen gangbang isn't quite as creepy if you are also a preteen yourself.
Yeah.
It's like,
It's more like a suggestion.
yeah, I don't feel so weird reading this right now, but that's a weird book. It's a great book, but it's got a weird ending.
It probably is. It's the only time it will probably ever be in my possession, and I didn't read it. I'll watch the movie at some point.
Have you seen the movie
I've
at all?
I've not seen either. No, I've not seen either.
I actually saw. My dad and I were going to go see the new one, and I asked if we could see the old one, and we watched the old one, and then we watched the new one. And it's so funny because the first one, not a lot of violence in it, whole lot of racism. New movie, tons of violence, gratuitous violence, and zero racism.
Well, it's the sign of the times.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you just stick with the book. The book is a classic.
Plenty of racism and violence.
That is Stephen King, yeah.
Give the people what they want.
Well, he is in the Illuminati after all.
Of course.
Stephen King?
Yeah,
What?
that's what the flat earther guy told me.
I'm pretty sure
Oh,
aren't pretty much anybody you've ever heard of is in the Illuminati, right? Isn't that the
anybody that's famous or wealthy.
Yeah,
is
anybody that's
Illuminati.
famous.
Pauly Shore, I don't think so.
rule? That's why he fell off the face of the earth, because he wouldn't join.
Yeah.
They ruined his
I guess
career.
You do have a point.
They said, son-in-law, that is it. That's all you get.
Yeah, in the army now. It's the last chance. How did, with something like in the army now, how did he ever disappear? Pauly Shore, man.
Good
He was great.
question.
Yeah.
Hey, Patrick.
Patty
Hey,
Pig.
Patrick.
Hey, Patrick!
I think he's froze.
Hey, Patrick.
No, I can
He's-
see
he's
him.
moving.
I mean, I can see him. Let's see.
I see his
Oh,
glasses
okay, yeah.
hovering.
Can he not? Oh, he can't
I
hear
can
us.
see my own reflection in his glasses. I don't know what he's doing.
He was having issues when we first got on the Hangout. I thought that he had.
Can you not hear me?
Oh, now it can.
Now we
There
hear
it
him.
is. Okay,
There you are.
fixed it. Yeah, I was still trying to record and I was messing up on it.
Uh-oh.
So
Good thing I'm recording.
So-
Let's make
yeah.
sure I'm still recording. Yay, we're still recording.
if not, I can still pull it from Mixer.
Well, the buzz is gone, but Patrick, you said you had something you wanted to talk about as well.
Yeah, I just sent the link
Oh.
to Steve-O. If you don't have it, I think I can add it on here.
Yeah, do
Just
that.
a
Do that.
second.
That's so much easier.
Yeah,
I don't
hang on.
have to do the whole cover up the other shit thing.
So found this. It's some AI that NVIDIA has been working on, and they come up with all these images. Oh, come on! Click the link.
This
I don't
person
know
does
if it
not
showed.
exist.
Yeah, it doesn't exist.
Well, that's what it is. It creates photos.
Oh, I found it.
Okay, yeah. Oh, let me see if I can share
Terrifying
it.
glimpse of what neural networks are. Oh, so these are all just
Yes.
made up faces.
Yeah, made up faces.
I mean,
And stuff on there. It's
like
crazy what it can do.
in like a real setting. I mean, I wonder if these are like based on someone's head with their background. You know what I mean? Because like this girl looks like she's in a park with some greenery behind her. This guy looks like he's up on a stage giving a PowerPoint presentation, and you know what I mean? Like the whole scene looks looks
Yeah, there's
real.
a video where we'll go through on it, and it'll change certain stuffs on for each image. But you might have to fast forward.
Yeah.
Because it's
Yeah,
long
it's
silent some words.
Let's see.
I can't get it to share on here, so you might have to share the images.
Yeah,
on
I
your
haven't
end,
seen any of
Steven.
it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So basically, this program takes pieces of people's faces and then pieces them together into one.
And
face.
it can just
Whoa.
create it into people that don't exist.
Whoa.
Yeah, that
it gets
definitely
crazy.
creepy.
The
And
eyes,
I'm sure
the glasses just grew out of their face.
Yeah, and I'm sure they can eventually get to a point where they can do like video and audio as well.
Oh man.
But yeah, the images look so real too. There's one where they had like mic in front of them and all that further on down. I thought it was just very interesting that this AI can do that.
Yeah, that looks like a real. Oh man, this is weird.
Yeah.
Oh man, this is gonna be T1000 right here. This is your T1000.
Yeah.
It's coming.
You'd be on a stream so you can see these images.
Oh my goodness.
She looks fake.
I don't think any of these people look fake.
No, yeah, it looks.
Oh, you're just a better person than me, aren't you?
That's the one with the mic.
Maybe I'm
The
an
mic
idiot.
looks fake.
This
though.
one, yeah, his eyes and stuff do look kind of fucked up.
It looked like some Tim and Eric shit.
That's still not that bad. I mean, you guys have heard of the
yeah.
Uncanny Valley, right? The Uncanny
Yeah.
Valley.
Uncanny
I mean, these
Valley.
are past the Uncanny Valley.
Oh yeah.
Okay, these are actually on there. Yeah, these are listed as examples of it not doing such a great job. I like the one tooth in the middle. She has one middle tooth.
Hey, don't make fun of that. That's what I have.
Oh,
Yeah,
all
one
I want
middle
for
tooth.
Christmas is my one front tooth. That's great, man.
Yeah. I thought that was a cool find. So,
Yeah,
She's
like-
creepy.
It looks like J.K. Rowling's slutty younger sister.
this one.
Yeah, that one.
That's creepy shit. I don't care.
Yeah.
Soon there'll be it's the deep fake videos. You've heard that, right?
yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll be the videos and stuff.
Yeah, man, they'll be able to make anything. This is
You
real.
won't be able
This
to
happened.
trust anything you see at all.
Well, I mean, it's kind of. I don't know. I was gonna say it's kind of already there, but then I immediately thought of the newer Star Wars movies when they try to do Princess Leia and what's the Admiral? He's not Admiral, but the guy that like the real skinny old guy that died, but he was like the head of the Death Star. Other than,
Grand Moff Tarkin.
yeah,
Oh,
him.
yeah.
Like that guy, they did a really good job on him, but you could still kind of tell.
I couldn't. I did not know.
Oh,
I didn't.
shit.
With Princess Leia, you could for sure.
Hey, Steve-O,
Yo,
send me another invite.
why? You're already in.
Something's happening.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
And he's gone.
He is.
Something's
I don't
happening.
know if I need to send it through the app or through email.
Well, you got Nathan's real email address now, baby. If you're watching that stream.
Well, there he
Okay,
is.
he's back. Well, maybe.
So apparently, I had both of the ones I had joined, and when I saw that I had two windows open, I closed it, and cut out all of my audio.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
so-
we still had you in our window.
That's weird. Okay, so
Same thing happened to me. I had it in two windows.
If there's anybody out there that's like a pro when it comes to like Google Hangouts and streaming podcasts, hey, we could use your help. Tell us how to be able to accept phone calls. Speaking of phone calls,
865-316-6955. That's where you put your phone calls.
yeah, put your phone calls right there. Hang on, I'm getting ready. I didn't have my little cover up window ready to go, but we do have a couple voicemails.
okay.
Oh,
Oh, nice.
All right, here's number one.
Hey, I wanted to talk about peeing in things that aren't normally supposed to be peed in. One time I lost one of those wide mouth Aquafina water bottles, which, by the way, the 1 liter wide mouth fucking perfect. Bounced out of a man lift that I was working off of about 150 feet up and went down and just barely missed some union electricians who were leaving for their smoke break. I thought it was fucking hilarious. They did not. A little further down the line, another good one for if you're in a pinch to pee in, latex or nitrile gloves. But you gotta watch out, bro. If those fingers are still stuck together or folded up, that glove fills up 2-3 times faster than you thought. You know, because normally it just nice and expands, warms up, you know, gives you more room, it stretches out so you get all, you know, everything out, all your day drinking and shit. But, yeah, sometimes that backfires. But it's cool, though, because then you can use those against liberals, cops, the state. I remember I busted like 2 or 3 at a certain courthouse in a certain state after a certain judgment. So, yeah, dude, peeing in things is great, especially if it's not a toilet. Yeah, that's it.
Verbal assault.
Wow.
He
Yeah.
understands the spirit of verbal assault.
Professional advice.
That's awesome. Keep it coming, man. Keep it coming. Next one's
That's awesome.
from the same phone number, so I'm assuming it's the same guy.
Yeah.
I also just wanted to add that if you're on a long-ass trip, you know, interstate traveling, you know, you might take your beverages based on the later necessary fucking piss necessities, you know? Whole gallon of sweet tea will last you a day in drinking, but that gallon itself will hold off all the way through Montana, Wyoming. I tell you what. You know, and then you got a projectile from what an asshole in Utah wants to cut you off. Just throw that shit right up the sunroof, dude. You'll be all right. Anyway, thanks for the call, crew. You guys are the best.
A lot of wisdom.
Dude, I like him. Who'd you say that was?
That's my stepbrother, Nick.
He's awesome. Keep it coming, Nick. You're the man.
Yep.
We have verbal assault, no way endorse throwing piss jugs out at other drivers, but we do laugh at it.
As long as you do it with biodegradable cups.
Our
Yeah.
laughter
And hey,
is
if-
not an endorsement.
If he's lucky, his acne will get cleared up too.
Yeah, that's right. Gotta listen to every episode.
Awesome.
Every episode.
Guys, I want to go through this article I have.
All right. Do I have something to pull up?
No, I didn't send you anything.
Okay.
It's just, this is salon.com, so you know it's fantastic. Has Trump wrecked our sex life?
Oh my God.
Post-Trump sex disorder is real, says sex therapist. Now, I'm going to go through this, and I would like y'all to really just think about the amount of made up shit and mind reading that is contained in this article. So here we go. This is by so the name of the doctor is Dr. Susan Block, and the writer of this article is Chauncey DeVega. Chauncey DeVega. So here we go.
Took a lot of time thinking up that pen name.
Yeah. Donald Trump has made America's mental health crisis much worse. Beginning with his presidential campaign and through to his 3rd year as president, the United States has experienced an increase in anxiety, suicide, depression, and other mental health problems. The president of the United States is also a role model. His or her behavior influences the public. I don't know what that means. Why did it say his or her with referring to the president? I don't understand that. Anyway.
One
And
day,
as
Nathan, one day.
Yes.
It's a pre-written
That's
article.
right.
One day that her will make sense to you.
Keep dreaming, liberals.
Oh.
Whatever, man. They're gonna surprise you. It's gonna be there's gonna be a woman run against Trump in the Republican Party.
And she's going to be an AI. She won't be a real person. It'll just be
Yeah.
made up. All that.
But we
stuff.
won't find out about that until after she's elected, and then there'll be a long investigation about collusion with the artificial intelligence.
I do feel that AI would have more brains than AOC, so I'd go for that AI.
Yeah.
All right. The president of the United States is also a role model. Oh yeah, his or her behavior, blah, blah, blah. And as documented by Dr. James Gilligan in his book, Why Some Politicians Are More Dangerous Than Others,
I can't trust him.
Trump's assault on the country's mental health is part of a much larger pattern. the Republican Party and the conservative movement have, for decades, advanced an agenda which has hurt the overall health and well-being of most Americans. Donald Trump's negative impact on mental health extends to the intimate sexual lives of many people as well.
Jesus Christ.
What is post-traumatic Trump disorder? How does
Oh my God.
How does Donald Trump's misogyny and other unhealthy behavior toward women reflect deeper systematic culture problems in America around gender, sex, and intimacy? In an effort to answer these questions, I spoke to Susan Blaylock, blah, blah, blah. She's with blah, blah, blah. Okay, here we go. How has the age of Trump impacted the American people's collective mental health and also their intimate lives? It has had a big impact. For some people, Trump's campaign and presidency has created a type of PTSD, what I call post-Trump sex disorder. Trump has created feelings of fear, loathing, and nausea. People just don't want to have sex. This would mainly be seen with women who are just appalled at how creepy Trump is. He takes what is often a positive male attribute of confidence and pushes it way over the line into rape-like and rape-entitled kind of arrogance. The news media is part of the problem as well. The news is full of stories about bad sex.
What?
It's full of stories.
They don't really like to talk about good sex. When you have this media obsession with bad sex and the usual all-American war, worship, and racism, as well as economic disparities and the way that corporations are in control, it really sucks the life out of a person. Never mind how this moment with Donald Trump is also reflected by many men who are dysfunctional and chronically frustrated and who don't know how to properly approach women, and the lethally unhinged incels. We also cannot forget all of the ammosexuals who substitute their favorite guns for a working penis. Okay, pause real quick.
Yeah, pause.
I looked up this word ammosexual because I was really hoping, I wanted to send this link to Bekah and be like, there are ammosexuals. We have to talk about this now.
Don't forget about the ammosexuals.
It's not an actual fetish. I was hoping it would be people like fucking guns and shit, but it is just a derogatory term for anybody that's pro Second Amendment. Right. That's all it is. Yeah. There's nothing fun about that.
There has to be people that fuck guns.
I mean, there might be a few, but when they say ammosexual,
you gotta have a tiny penis or a big gun.
That is what they're referring to. Why can't I pull up this page? Okay, here we go.
What the hell? Who's fucking calling me?
What?
Is that somebody trying to tell us how to work Google Hangouts?
Did I accidentally call you?
Oh, was that you?
I don't know.
Probably
I'm trying to pull up my window again.
Calling.
Okay, we need to keep. There's a lot of good stuff in this. Most Americans of conscience and decent people more generally are appalled by Donald Trump's personal and public behavior. Yet there are others who are aroused by Donald Trump and see him as a symbol of sexual potency and power. Yes, Donald Trump is a turnoff for many people, but for some people, they are turned on and titillated by Donald Trump.
Jesus.
They are not suffering from post-Trump sexual disorder. Sex does not always turn us on the way we think it ought to. A lot of people are attracted to bad boys. I emphasize people because it is both men and women who are aroused and attracted to titillated by Donald Trump. There is definitely a homoerotic attraction for Trump being experienced by his usual very homophobic male supporters. Both men and women really do find Trump to be an appealing bad boy and evil daddy who's really hot.
Is that so?
You should be doing this whole thing in Trump voice.
In this way, Donald Trump is the daddy of a dysfunctional United States family. And of course, evil can be very sexy. Evil's fascinating. As you said previously, Donald Trump is a cult leader and a Charlie Manson-like figure. People are just charged up by him. And some of those people are driven to commit great crimes by that kind of charisma. It is almost the same as when you hear about a fetish and you say to yourself, I don't understand why anybody would be turned on by that. But people are. American society is very repressed in terms of healthy attitudes about sex. Therefore, it is no surprise that people will look to violence to express their sexuality. This is why Donald Trump embodies the symbolic cultural role as the big, mean, sexy daddy.
And that was written by whom again?
I don't fucking Chauncey something was the name. Chauncey
Sparklefoot.
Sparklefoot.
So
why can I?
So the sex lives of Americans are being destroyed because some people love them and some people hate them.
Apparently, yes. Some people love him, and then some people hate him too much. So some people, including all his normally homophobic Southern boys, get a homoerotic fantasy kick out of thinking about the God Emperor, and they, suddenly they want to get fucked in the butt. I guess
they want to get a pussy so he can grab it.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, don't judge me when I'm listening to the State of the Union buck naked with a Trumpy Bear flag around me and my boner is erect as the flag at Iwo Jima.
Okay. Donald Trump is a right-wing authoritarian and aspiring tyrant. The fascist conception of the state is very masculine in the most crude and basic sense. In this way of thinking about politics and society, Donald Trump leads a political cult whose members want to literally be inside of him, to become him, to have a libidinal relationship with the great leader. This includes both men and women. The fascist aesthetic can be very erotic for the followers. Trump supporters want to be spanked by him. Trump supporters want to be hugged by him. They want to be with him. They want to identify with him. One of the things about the evil daddy is that he shames you. He touches your sexuality very deeply. Trump does this all the time with his attacks on people and efforts to shift the blame from him and onto others. Oh my God.
Wow.
I'm getting turned on now, man.
Oh, it gets even better. It gets even better. Donald Trump is beloved by right-wing Christians. They see him as a messiah figure, despite his obvious and gross personal behavior.
Didn't they do that with W? Pretty sure they did that with W, too.
Everybody does with everybody.
Well, no, Obama was the Antichrist, but W was some kind
Yeah,
of...
but he was the messiah to his followers. Yeah, to his people, he was like a messiah.
Yeah, I thought all Christians were Republicans, though.
Behavior that is viewed by most of the world's great religions would be considered wicked and sinful. Moreover, in many of these right-wing Christian churches, they have these rituals called purity balls, where the father marries his daughter to protect her virginity. Have any of you ever fucking heard of that?
No.
Have you ever married your fucking dad?
Don't forget the amosexuals.
I have been to 100 churches in my life all over the eastern U.S. and I have fucking never heard of that.
I don't think I have either.
I would like to hear one account.
Westboro Baptist Church.
Of the one over the top, the fake church, the Westboro Baptist Church. Why are some men, especially conservatives and other authoritarians, frightened and made angry by strong, independent, sexual, confident women? As human beings, we have a range of possible turn-ons and turn-offs. Very often, one person's turn-on is another person's turn-off, especially among men. Many men are aroused by the idea of a woman having power in the bedroom. As a sex therapist, I see these men all the time. The numbers are much higher than most would suspect. We women are a little bit more diffuse and flexible about our turn-ons. As a qualifier, I hope I'm not sounding sexist here, because for the most part, I believe that men are not from Mars and women are not from Venus. We're all from this same beautiful, wild, sexual planet Earth. We're far more alike than we're different. We have a few differences. One of those differences is that men, unless they're on Viagra or another drug, can see when they are aroused. Women tend to be more exploratory by comparison. I have talked to many men in right-wing strongholds, red state America. They need sex therapy more than the guys in liberal parts of the country. Why is this? Certain communities do not allow these men to step out of a very narrow role of what is defined as being masculine and strong and normal. They have a hard time of even finding a therapist in those places to speak with. Many of these conservative parts of the country may not even be able to find a therapist who they can share something basic as, hey, I really enjoy having a woman spank me. They're going to laugh at you. They're going to call you names. These men will certainly not be able to share with therapists or anyone else, for that matter, how they may really enjoy seeing their wives with another man. Here we go. But these right-wing conservative men are very turned on by the thought of seeing their wives or girlfriends with other men. These men, the Trump supporters, and especially the alt-right types, love to use the word cuck as a type of insult. But in reality, I would estimate that a lot of them, maybe most, are into the cuckold fantasy themselves.
Oh, there's plenty of that on Pornhub. There's a whole category of guys watching their wives get fucked.
The cuckold fantasy cannot be easily separated from race in America and the West, especially for white conservatives and other members of the right wing. For example, in the right wing imagination, cuck is usually used as a slur against a white man who is perceived as being weak. In the making this slur, Barack Obama, the United States' first black president, is often mentioned as well. This is a direct and clear allusion to white male anxieties and racial stereotypes about the black male body and ownership over, as well as access to, white women's bodies. It scares them, but it also makes their penises hard.
It's a fear boner. Gotta love that fear boner.
I gotta say it, beer phoner.
Beer phoner.
Can I pause for a quick fact check? Do you guys ever get fear boners?
No,
never.
No.
When I was when I was young, let's see, we'll estimate like 9 or 10 or something. There was one time that I got this wild hair that I wanted to try see what a cigarette was like. Well, there were ashtrays all over the house with spent butts in them, so I was like, oh, I'm gonna go in the bathroom and light a cigarette and hit it a couple times. And I don't think it was a fear boner, but it was like an excitement of doing something I'm not supposed to be doing, and I got a boner from it.
Oh man.
Yeah. What do you think? Does that qualify? I mean, maybe I was afraid of getting caught.
I've never had that happen. I mean, when I get excited or something, I'll have to pee. So I don't know how
You're a cocker
one
spaniel.
could get a boner.
Yeah.
One could get a boner. And I just don't see, because you can't pee with a boner. No. I mean, so.
I mean, you can. You just can't.
Dave,
really
you can.
It's painful.
You can, Dave.
It
takes a skill.
If you're not peeing into a toilet, like
Oh yeah.
If you're outside for some reason with a boner, and you need to take a piss, you'd be able to make. Okay, here we go. Camping. Wake up with morning wood. Crawl out of your tent. And you would be able. Oh, that would be glorious, wouldn't that be? I don't think I've ever done it.
That sounds great.
I don't think I've ever pissed with morning wood.
Steve-O.
What?
I'm gonna let you in on something.
What's that?
I only piss outside now.
Living the real American dream.
Living it. I'm living the dream,
You're
fellas.
like fucking Paul Bunyan, man. Without the axe.
Do you ever get anger boners?
No. That's not a thing.
No, I don't think it can be.
I get them.
Okay.
Go on.
Next
you were
clip,
saying.
Next YouTube clip is girl talks about her
anger boner.
No, we don't need to talk about it. I just wondered if it was a thing.
Yeah, it gets a little too detailed.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, we'd hate to be too descriptive on verbal assault.
All right.
I'm so angry I've got wood.
I noticed it when I had my first job, and like I would get really flustered and frustrated if it got really super busy or something. And if somebody did something that pissed me off, I'd be like, what the fuck, man? Why do I feel like this? If I was really pissed off and really flustered at the same time. So I think that's an
And
anger
then you'd
boner.
be like turned on.
Yeah. I figured that was a given. That's what a boner is.
That's what a boner is, you
It's
dope.
usually like a physical manifestation. Usually. Usually.
If you're doing it right.
It's supposed to be. There's if there's not, then there's pills that can help with that.
What if is there? I wonder if there's such a thing as if you get so excited, you get gas.
I had the
Horny
opposite of that.
A boner fart.
I used to always get gas real bad in church. Always. Like, never really an issue any other day of the week, but something about
He's full of the Holy Ghost.
Sitting in church.
Holy Ghost fire.
Yeah.
In his belly.
Maybe it might just be because it's like the worst possible place, and so your body's like, yeah, here you go. Have this. Try this one on.
It is the worst possible place.
All right, y'all, listen to this. Listen to this complete mind reading, this made up bullshit. It scares them, but it also makes their penises hard. It's such a conundrum for these guys. The penis doesn't lie unless it's on Viagra. I feel that a lot of these white supremacist, cuck-obsessed, cuckold, name-calling right-wing types really believe that black men are superior to them sexually and physically. This belief and feeling is at the center of their sexual desire, which is in turn is the center of their true masculinity. It scares them so bad, and yet they want to act it out. They want to feel it because they have a natural desire to have an orgasm, to enjoy themselves, to have pleasure. A lot of these white right-wing men, especially the alt-right types, will love to have sex with African-American men. But this could potentially ruin their social and political power if it became publicly known. But the fantasies still exist. They try to work these fantasies and tensions out somehow, but they have this totally opposite politics and cultural relationship to the world and to their families. I have tried to help people to be a little bit more honest with their true fantasies and desires, but it is a challenge.
I feel like Chauncey Sparklefoot has a lot of projection going on.
Could you imagine, like, you go, okay, so like you and your wife are having some issues. You go in to see a sex therapist, and she starts to talk, she or he, I don't know, Chauncey. I have no idea. Let's say he. Chauncey starts asking you about your political beliefs, and you're like, yeah, I kind of like some of the shit Trump's done. It's all right. And then slowly over a few sessions, Chauncey starts to tell you how you really want to fuck Trump and black men. The reason your marriage is having issues is because you actually want to fuck black dudes. That's what this whole article is.
Yeah, I love it. It's like this opinion fueled anecdotal opinion piece.
You're paying how much for these sessions?
Yeah, like
that's what they tell you.
They hate Trump so much that they'll. This is a therapist, right? Writing this, or is it not?
Is it actual doctor?
Is this
I want to know where this article shows up, man.
Yeah,
it's on salon.com. Salon.com.
So is it like one of the salon writers, or is this actually like a therapist writing this shit?
It's a writer that is talking to a therapist.
Okay.
Interviewing, right?
Yeah.
Is there any empirical data that they're using?
Right.
Here?
Yeah.
No.
There's no mention
This
of
person-
evidence or statistics or taking data.
This
Asking
person is
these people.
completely pulling shit out of their ass.
Yeah, because they hate Trump so much that they just have to attribute something to him that's bad.
I just found Chauncey DeVega's Twitter, and it's a picture of a black man holding up a Colt 45, and it says "Politics Writer for Salon."
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Wow!
So his assumption is all these Republican white guys in the middle of the country, they all
want him.
They all want him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe the
10,000
real story
followers.
is that he wants them.
Yeah, so maybe that's a fantasy.
That's
maybe
the
that's
real
what
story.
it really is.
10,000 followers and 34,000 tweets.
As unbelievable as it may sound, there are actually slave plantation retreats where black people go to be dominated by white people in a BDSM interracial role-playing experience.
Wow.
I don't think that's
Whoa.
true.
I can't find that to be true at
Whoa.
all.
Wait, what was that again? I'm gonna Google it. Looking
Yeah,
for
let's Google
interracial slave plantation.
That's over the top. I
BDSM
can't imagine
retreat.
anybody doing that.
What is it? Interracial and what?
Slave plantation retreats where black people go to be dominated by white people in a BDSM interracial role-playing experience.
I don't find it impossible that would be someone's fetish, but not so much that there's a business.
Right.
You know what I mean? There's some crazy fetishes out there. I mean, there's so detailed fetishes. This is exactly what I want. But I can't imagine there'd be a place. I mean, you might be able to do it once. You know, there'd be enough people that would pay the money to go to this retreat once, but not like, okay, we're going to open a camp and this is this plantation where people come to do this. There's no way. No way. No way. Fake news.
Fake news. Fake news. I can't believe it either. I mean, if it is some kind of annual thing, can you imagine they're getting all excited for it? Oh, it's almost May, you know. Can't wait to go.
Yeah. It's like church camp, only different.
You think the Smiths will be there this year?
I don't know. The Bendeckers said that they're going to show up, though. Woo!
What do you think your slave name's going to be this year?
Oh. I mean, that's just...
They called me Toby last year. I'm kind of sick of that.
Yeah, I can't believe any of this.
There are also other examples of that kink where blacks and Latinos and other non-whites engage in race play with their intimate partners, where the former act out crossing the border and,
Jesus Christ.
and being captured by the authorities. Are servants or slaves who are subjected to racist abuse. Sometimes this takes the form of using racial slurs while having sex. To me, these are clear examples of internalized white supremacy and self-hatred. But I also believe that people have a right to their own pleasure and bodily autonomy with consenting partners. How do we reconcile these tensions?
Please tell me.
All right, this is what she says. It is complicated and not a simple issue. I think it can be great therapy.
Just impeach Trump. That'll fix it.
Interracial cuckolding and other types of role-playing can open up the participants' mind to each other and make them all better people. I really believe that. I also believe that this type of sex can exorcise old demons from your childhood. It can also exorcise old demons from just being an American and this country's history.
He is soliciting for clients. He wants to help people live out this fantasy. That's it. And he's going to get a couple of them. I mean, yeah, we're like, oh, this is ridiculous. This guy's a fucking idiot. But there's going to be a couple people that are like, what's his email address?
I'm going to help you.
I knew opening that Airbnb in that old slave plantation would pay off someday.
Exorcise the demons.
I have exorcised the demons. What was that? What is that?
What are all the sounds?
What's the
I have exorcised the demons.
Perfect.
Glad. I'm glad that guy's back.
Yeah. The demons were afraid of his helium powers.
Oh man, just quick, this is the end of the article basically, and it's just what advice do you have for people who are experiencing post-Trump sex disorder? How can they salvage their intimate lives at a time of such fear, anxiety, violence, and worry? First of all, I believe in the importance of pleasure. I think too many people on the right denigrate pleasure as sending you to hell. Of course, they are very hypocritical about that. Of course, because they want to actually fuck black dudes and Trump. And there are too many people on the left who denigrate pleasure as being selfish. Pleasure, when you're sharing, is the opposite of selfishness. You're really reaching out to your fellow humans. That's the beauty of life. I also think it is important to honor pleasure and to honor pleasure givers. It is also very important to honor your own sexual desires and the pleasures of your partner or partners. If your partner has a cuckold fantasy or some other fantasy that you don't like, try not to shame them. try to let them talk about it and try to hear them out. Of course, do not do anything that bothers you. I think that there are so many people who shame each other over our human sexual desires. It's kind of a favorite American pastime. I think that contributes to a sex negative culture. That's the end of that article. Although the whole preceding article was about how all conservatives are sexually confused and really want black men to fuck their wives and want to fuck Trump or them.
Yeah.
Isn't that just saying somebody's sexually confused just a backhanded way, like a backhanded compliment? Like you can't call anybody faggot anymore because gay people get upset. But if you could say, well, conservatives are sexually confused.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you can. Yeah, you can always lay it on conservatives somehow.
This
still an insult.
It seems like a guy that I'm sure he's very liberal and has probably either experienced himself or has friends or been in conversations about like weird sex acts and stuff. Has probably experienced a lot of different things that maybe a lot of conservative people haven't experienced, and just assumes that everyone else must have all of these fantasies that he's heard of.
That's definitely an overgeneralized article.
Yeah, man.
Like I said, they're really projecting something.
Yeah.
Some kind of self-hatred.
I think you kind of hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
Makes perfect sense to me.
That so many articles today are like that. The idea that they will take a singular group of people and then just start extrapolating and assigning ideas to them wholesale. Well, the alt-right does this, conservatives do this, therefore they're also alt-right white supremacists. These, and they will. This is the thing that Scott Adams talks about all the time. This idea of, half of the shit people are doing nowadays, they're just mind reading. They're imagining what people are saying they don't listen to what people say when they tell you, no, that's what I really mean. This is what I mean. Mm-hmm. They ignore that and then just assign what they think you mean.
Right.
And they will base their entire ideology. They will smear people. They will go after people online over literally their imagination of what they believe people are thinking.
It's the exact same thing as religion and horoscopes. Like it's just about how much it speaks to you on a particular level that you can identify with it just enough. Like somebody tells me, oh, you were born between this day and this day, so that means that you're a very passionate person. Well, I am a very passionate person.
Right. You're
right. So you get somebody that's just vulnerable enough to let that speak to the right part of them, and that's how you start a fucking religion. Mm-hmm. And it just depends on how strong you are and how many people you have the ability to reach, whether or not you'll be successful with that. Because you have this guy who has everything laid right out for you. This is exactly what the problem is. And you have what's his face that started Mormonism. Joseph Smith. Joseph Smith. You have that guy. Kind of similar concept, but Joseph Smith found the right people to listen to him.
Right.
That's what I've done every time I've started a religion.
Is this the guy they're talking about in the article?
Yes.
Yeah, people are really good at taking their emotions and like, I felt this, therefore there is truth here. That's the religion and horoscopes and this guy. He feels he hates Trump so much, and he hates Trump supporters so much that he is taking this idea and forcing it on them and assuming it's true. Not like there was no sense of I could be wrong about this. Maybe I'm a little, maybe I'm a little biased one way or another. It was like, no, this is it. I'm talking to a therapist right now, and this is what I've gathered because I've talked to this therapist.
Well, yeah, they literally said, as we know, a Charlie Manson-like figure. Like they actually said that like it was a given.
Yeah, like obviously.
I think I'm going to coin a phrase here. I'm going to. These people who feel this way have magasitis.
Yeah.
It affects their whole way of thinking. It's like mad cow disease, but No, it happens a little quicker.
So
All it takes is a little social media.
We call it MAGA cow disease.
Yeah, that's right.
All right. It's yours, Dave. You've coined it. It's your
Cow.
phrase.
Magacitis.
You heard it here first. Verbal assault.
Verbalassault.com doesn't exist. Don't you go buying that.
Good. Why doesn't it?
I don't know.
Don't you go squatting on that domain.
Yeah, don't you go squatting on it. And if you do,
That's right.
Sell it to us at a fair price.
Or just make a nice website for us because you like this.
Don't go pissing on that word with your boner. No.
Your fear boner.
I did it.
Well,
fear boner.
I think I can bring the tone down a little bit because we've had a death in the family this week, or an announced death.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, I was going to bring up Mars last week, but we ran out of time. But it actually kind of works out because this week we had some significant news regarding one of our rovers on Mars. That is Little Opportunity. They call him Oppie. And back in June, they lost contact with it. But at that time, it was like, well, we knew they knew that they were going to lose contact. And then this unprecedented dust storm began on Mars. It was a global dust storm. These things happen pretty frequently, and they usually prepare for them. In fact, one of the things that Spirit and Opportunity did and kind of figured out, or the team figured out using them, is that there were these seasonal dust storms, but then after the dust storms, there'd be a windy season, and then there'd be a lot of these dust devils that would come around. And so they would actually park these rovers on a slope, like I guess probably facing the direction where the wind was coming or would be coming at the end of the dust storm, and that way the wind would blow them off. These rovers were only intended to last 90 days because we did know that there were these dust storms, but I don't think we realized that we had this windy season that came afterwards with all the dust devils that would clean them off. So that was one of the things that really allowed these two rovers to continue for so long. It was a 90-day mission for both, and Spirit lasted until I want to say 2010, and
that sounds right.
And then Opportunity lasted until now. We have now officially ended the mission. NASA had a big press conference Wednesday, and they announced that they'd made their final transmissions at an attempt to wake Opportunity up, and it just ain't waking up. And they had some, very technical reasons why Opportunity might actually still be functioning, but its clock could be fucked up because it went into this deep sleep and might not be able to figure out exactly what time it needs to wake up and try to contact Earth. But at the same time, this is JPL, and they're very good at what they do. So if there was any hope in contacting Opportunity, I think that they would have been able to do it.
Wasn't it originally only supposed to travel like in a manner of feet, and it ended up going 29 miles?
I think it was about a kilometer, or it was less than a mile. The original expectation was it wouldn't go a mile. And so when they got landed on Mars, they're exploring the area around them. Of course, I can't remember, like the names of the craters or whatever, but they explored them, and then they were like, well, there's this other really cool crater that's it was like 15 kilometers away or 20 kilometers or something. And they're like, well, let's see if we can drive there, because they'd already surpassed their 90 days and they were doing pretty good. They felt pretty confident that they had a healthy rover, and they decided to take more than a year. I don't know if it was 2-3 years to drive over to this crater called Endeavor Crater. It's just this massive crater, and they made it. And then they cruised around there for a while and checked things out, and they found lots of evidence for ancient water, that we know because of those two rovers that there at least once was water. I mean, now we've figured out more, that there actually is liquid water underneath the surface. but these two little rovers, man, and it's been kind of cool because I have not followed the Spirit and Opportunity like religiously, like I have now done in the last few years, following the rocket companies. But seeing these scientists and engineers and stuff chime in on the impact in their lives of what these two rovers did, and a lot of the people that are working for NASA or JPL or in other industries were inspired, like when they were kids, when they were teenagers or younger, when those two rovers got to Mars. And actually, one of the coolest things I learned about this during this whole thing of Opportunity coming to an end is that Spirit and Opportunity, that was the first mission where NASA decided we're just going to put out all of our images on the website. As they come in, we're going to put them out. And that way amateurs can come and they can take the photos and they can do whatever they want with them.
It's risky. That's really risky when they're trying to cover up the alien bases.
Well,
Mars
I mean, they've got a guy, it passes through this one guy's
I've seen
desk,
him. I've seen the bases. Have you seen the ductwork and the tubing and the tunnels and shit?
The ductwork and tubing? No.
Tubing on Mars. You don't see it?
No, I played the arcade game.
It's out there, bro. It's out there. Look it up.
You mean they're sitting on a tube running down a dune or something? They're tubing?
Yeah, tubing.
Yeah,
bro.
that kind of tubing. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, so it's real sad and everything, but what it kind of does, one bright side is it frees up a bunch of these scientists and engineers to now go work on other things. And there is another rover that's coming. It's launching in 2020. Right now the name is Mars 2020. It to look at it, it looks just like Curiosity, but it has some different capabilities. One that's very important is they're gonna, I think the instrument's called Moxie, and they're gonna try to capture CO2 and see if they can produce breathable oxygen out of it. I think it's in situ resource utilization. It's an experiment just to see how smart we are. Basically, can we take the atmosphere and turn it into something that we can use, and that'll inform later missions, of course.
Steve-O, that's cool and all, but I feel like you really just need to decolonize your mind, and that really this is a play for the patriarchy, for the white male supremacy to shoot its seed up into the blackness of space, to infest whiteness into the blackness of space, and then to take control of it, colonize it, and make it its own.
Yeah. I agree. You're right.
Okay. He agrees.
That's exactly what we're doing. That's what humans do. That is exactly what humans do. That's what when we discovered the New World and we came over and planted our seed here, and Lewis and Clark, planting their seed over on the West Coast. It is what humans do.
Listen, if somebody's gonna
we gotta plant our seed there.
If somebody's gonna plant seed, it might as well be me.
Well, yeah, because fucking anteaters aren't gonna do it. Fucking sloths and kangaroos, they're not doing that shit. So, all right. So now Opportunity's over. Okay, now let's move on to something that I just stumbled across a couple weeks ago. There was, let's see, I've got the name. NASA had this competition. It's NASA's Centennial Challenges, and this particular challenge was 3D printed habitat challenge. And there is a group, or there's a company called AI Space Factory.
You mentioned this last week, right?
I mentioned it to you before we started that I was going to talk about it, but this is me now talking about it.
No, we talked about it last week.
Nope.
All right.
No,
All right.
I never brought it up. Can anybody confirm that we did not talk about this? Pretty sure we did.
I don't think we did.
I apologize. Go ahead, Steven.
All right. So they've built this thing's called Marcia. It's Mars habitat. It's not really. I mean, it's abbreviation. It's not Like each letter doesn't stand for something. It's just MARS, Mars, HA for habitat. So they have figured out how to 3D print. There's multiple groups working on this, but this looks quite convincing to me. So they 3D print this this shit out of this shit, some kind of plastic, something poly whatever.
Scientific term.
Scientific terms. They print some shit out of some shit, and it's really fucking good.
So
and then we incept space with our white supremacy.
Yeah, look at that penis just laying down all that seed to make that floor.
To make a bigger penis to grow up out of the surface of Mars. Right,
exactly. It's some kind of plasticky thing. What is it called? It's called basalt fiber reinforced polylactic acid. So what it will allow us to do is we wouldn't have to take the structure of our habitats, right? The only thing that we would have to take is like windows and doors. That's the only thing that they're not able to 3D print on Mars. But they got this perfectly shaped window. This was, when I saw this was the part was like, oh, that's fucking brilliant, because I'm thinking, how are they going to make sure that all this shit fits together just right? Because you got all this hardware that you do have to launch from Earth and combining it with something that you've 3D printed on Earth. But it's got this shape, and because it has this like diamond shape, you drop that window in there, and even if you're just like a millimeter or two off, it's gonna fit right. You know what I'm saying? Because if you had, like, if it was a square and you're just a little bit off perfect right angles or whatever, then it's not gonna fit right. But because of the shape that they've decided on, it slides right into
it wedges in there
into an imperfect shape. Exactly.
I can understand that. I get that.
Yeah. And they went ahead and went a step further, and they figured out some really good spots on Mars that have a lot of the shit that we need. That's what this map that is showing up on here. And I don't know what all of these abbreviations are, but they are obviously like molecules. And
it would take too long for me to describe.
and these are all things that are important to us being able to use, whether it's for 3D printing or maybe, you know, making air or making all kinds of shit, you know, because we're going to have to build things on Mars. We can't just launch everything from Earth. It would never happen. If we launched everything from Earth, we would never we would never have a colony on Mars. We'd be able to go and visit, and it would be nice, and we'd have some nice pictures and come back. But to be able to go there and stay there, you got to be able to use the shit that's there already.
Right.
And they've gone ahead and figured out, they marked one spot, and I don't think they have a zoomed out shot of on Mars, but not like any of us know the globe of Mars that well anyway. But they've figured out this spot, this place would be perfect. It's got all these materials that we need. And somehow they only got second place on this this competition, but it's a 3-phase competition, and they are now in phase 3.
They got one good thing going for them, and that is that their habitats do look like large black penises thrusting up from the Earth.
Right.
Which is what everyone wants.
And as a conservative male, I really am just looking into the whole black penis thing.
Well, clearly.
It's just naturally it's just naturally what we do.
Yeah, because if you are a white male, you want to be fucked by a black male.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's why this is black. Oh, and you'll like this. Apparently this material that they're 3D printing can be made a few different ways, but one of those ways is bio-waste. We're gonna turn our shit into houses.
Way to make a shit house.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure we can also turn that into a sexual fantasy. Let's just think about that for a minute.
Living in a shit house?
It's a shit house.
Ow.
Yeah. Hey, just go and watch Solo, and then go watch the Italian movie Solo, and then tell me if you have a shit fetish or not.
Yeah, the whole name of this town is going to be Copaphagia.
Okay, what's that mean?
You are aroused by being shit upon.
Really?
Yes.
They speak German
aphasiac.
there.
You're a phasiac. Well, that's the whole golden shower side of things.
Yeah, I'm definitely turned off by shit. I know that for sure. 100%.
You found out one day in a Home Depot parking lot.
100%.
You got to listen to every show, folks.
I want to challenge everybody to go watch that movie and then come back and we'll talk about it on the podcast.
Oh man, what's it called?
It's called Solo. It's called Solo 120 Days of Sodom.
It was on YouTube earlier for free.
There's no way that whole movie is on YouTube. There was a clip of it.
That's where I found it.
There's no way I'm watching that movie.
I remember that. I remember watching that clip.
Yeah, that clip is like tame compared to everything that happens in that movie.
Damn. I don't think I want to watch it.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to, but it's for the podcast.
Ugh.
I'm sure Brian would loan it to you.
Brian has it?
Yeah, that's right. That's how I watched it. I was at his place a month or two ago.
Hey, man, just a couple dudes, man, just broing down, watching this this documentary about shit.
No, I wanted to borrow Friday the 13th, and he couldn't find Friday the 13th. But then, the 13th. But then he gave me a stack of DVDs this big, and in that was Solo. And I did end up watching that, and I was angry about it.
You're really selling it.
I mean, I knew what I was getting into to some degree, but
oh man,
it's something else. It's not the worst out there from what I've heard. It's no Serbian film, but it's pretty gross.
Yeah, it sounds ridiculous to me.
Yeah, it's that. All right, Bekah.
Yeah.
It's been some
Saw you doing
material.
a lot of smiling and a lot of writing.
There, have you guys, like, for me, everybody, if they're not talking, they're frozen.
Yeah, I've seen that.
No.
Yeah.
I saw Becca's face frozen like this earlier.
I thought, yeah, I just thought she was writing because, like, the first time it froze, you're just smiling and looking down. And so I thought that you were just smiling and writing things that you heard. And then I realized, like, Brad right now is frozen with his head back, with his mouth open.
I have noticed it, but not on my screen. I've noticed it when someone else is sharing their screen. I can see everybody frozen on that one.
Well, then that's what I see. But once you talk, once it switches to you, then you start moving again. I think it's an internet thing. Which
I was going to say it has to be because everybody on mine is moving.
Yeah, I think is nice. I think it's Hangouts, like seeing that my connection is not great, so it's like freezing everybody when they're not talking. So that's kind of nice. Anyway, we had a suggestion for the either the title of the show or
name of the poem.
Or the name of the poem, yeah.
Let's hear it. Let's see if it even compares to the title I've got.
Anger boner.
Oh, that's pretty. Oh man, I wonder. I could probably actually incorporate that into the title I already have.
Okay.
Because. Okay. All right, it's a long title. Anger boner. Big, mean, sexy daddy and the child-sized dummy.
Oh God,
that is horrifying. You sure you haven't seen Solo?
I'm not done. I'm gonna start at the beginning.
Okay, sorry.
Anger boner. Big, mean, sexy daddy and the child-sized dummy. An interracial role-playing experience.
Yes.
I have to figure this out to understand the spirit, mind reading contained in fascist aesthetic. Looking for clients up on a stage. As they come in, we put them out. Anybody that's famous or rich gets to watch from the windows. You won't trust anything you see at all, but one day it will make sense to you.
One day it will. One day it will make sense to me. Thank you, Becca. Thank you to Haywood Banks for our theme song. Thank you, everyone, for a fantastic podcast. Thank you to everyone that called in on our number.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
865-316-6955.
So if you're watching the video, whether you're watching Mixer or you're on YouTube, I have updated the little kind of background graphic down here at the bottom right. So you've got our Twitter account there, twitter.com/_verbal assault_. Of course, the patreon.com/verbal-assault. You got our email. We never mention our email, but you can email. If you don't feel comfortable leaving a voicemail, fucking email us.
If you're shy.
I don't know who checks it, but I'm pretty sure Patrick would get it.
I check it every about once a week. I'll check it.
Oh, I thought you were going to say you check it every hour.
Twice a year, I check it.
Yeah, twice a year was I was thinking.
Or actually, better yet, if you just want to tweet at us, then that'll come to us. And also, most important, if you are on YouTube and you want to catch us live, mixer.com/verbal-assault-podcast. Do it.
And listen, guys, I'm now posting multiple videos a week on the YouTube channel. They're going to be clips from the podcast, different excerpts, and I'm also considering, throwing a little extra bonus content up there.
Oh.
And I'm also asking if any of my co-podcasters, if they want to throw up a video onto the YouTube channel, go ahead and do that. We start doing that. If anybody wants to do that.
Yeah, that'd be
What
cool.
kind of video?
Just like
any kind of video, as long as it's good.
One of
Like
you
a-
getting a massage without the other person in the room knowing.
A video of Becca getting a massage, a video of Brad at the strip club, a video of Steve-O watching a rocket, a video of Patrick with his band, a video of Dave playing music. All kinds of shit. I mean, Dave played video games. Patrick played music. I said all that way too fast.
He plays the triangle for Sting, I think, right?
I'm a mean kazoo
He
player.
plays the Jew harp
Get it
really
down.
well.
That's right.
Jew harp.
Yeah, Dave knows what a Jew harp is.
Yep.
Were you doing Haywood Banks just then?
Is that really
You can do the first few bars of that intro song with a Jew harp.
It's called either a mouth harp or a Jew harp. Yeah. Yeah, that is a thing.
I feel like it used to be called one thing, and now it's strictly called the other.
I own one.
Dave, please have that for the next podcast.
You fucking would own one.
It's in the plastic room. So I'd have to breach the seal in order to go get it. So I don't know.
What the fuck are you talking about?
What's the plastic room? Come on,
It's
Breach the
winter.
seal?
you can't
Like
bring
he
this
has
up.
I've told you guys this.
Like he has a zombie body wrapped up in there. Like it's Return of the Living Dead.
Hey,
we
he's-
can't breach it.
He's gonna marry him one
I've told
day.
you guys this. I've told you the whole room is plastic. It's all sealed off, man. It's how I keep my house cool and hot.
That's
cheap.
weird as shit, Dave.
By
Fuck that.
eliminating
I
entire
use
rooms
that
of the
room
house.
for 1 week out of a year.
Dave, put on your hazmat suit, crawl in there,
I just
Crawl
had to
in
put on a jacket. That's
crawl in
all.
there, and find your Jew harp, and then play it for us on the podcast.
Why is it in the plastic room to begin with? Why isn't it on your nightstand?
Because it's one of those things, like in the podcast room, how I had all that shit around and all that. It's just over there on my desk in that room with other goofy shit.
Other plastic shit in the plastic room.
Speaking of plastic things, Kegel texted me today or yesterday. He said he had some stickers printed up, and
Aw.
yeah, he just got a few of them just to see how they look. But yeah, we'll have some stickers here soon to look at, and he said he got enough that he can send you guys some too.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Sweet.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
Somebody cares about our podcast more than we do.
Have to borrow his shirt if we ever want to
I have his
advertise.
shirt. He has given me his shirt because he didn't like the way it fit, so I have it. It's mine.
That's great news.
All right, that's it. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Deuces.